Hello everyone, Tanya Siddiqui here, and hope all of you are doing fine. Thank you for your subscription and your likes. They are highly appreciated. And today we are going to talk about narcissist personality, which is one of the several personality disorders characterized by a sense of grandiosity and need for excessive attention and admiration and lack of empathy. These people have very fragile self esteem and are vulnerable to even the slightest of criticism, and they often appear demanding, arrogant, and self centered. Small children are generally selfish, and if you ask a group of 8 or 9 years old who is the smartest of them all, I'm sure everybody is going to raise their hands. But as the children start growing and entering teen years, this self centeredness starts declining or diminishing, and self esteem starts developing. This self-esteem helps the children understand that they deserve to be loved and they hold a special place in their family as well as in the society. The self-esteem is not self-centeredness. The self-centeredness of children with narcissistic personality is completely different than the normal self-centeredness that is a normal part of growing up for children. In normal narcissism, the children's need for dependence and admiration is fulfilled by the age appropriate attention they receive, and they are able to acknowledge the nurturing by reciprocity and gratitude. Whereas children with narcissistic personality receive nurturance with a sense of entitlement, and they do not reciprocate or experience any sense of gratitude. In children's normal growth and development, children start developing empathy as they grow older, and they start understanding the sufferings of other people. And when this empathy is not present and it's not developing, that means something is not right and it is a cause for concern. This disorder develops in childhood, and there could be numerous reasons for this. For example, inconsistent and unpredictable parental caregiving, and growing up with unrealistic expectations from parents, also over pampering or idealizing the child in unrealistic ways. Parents are not able to provide emotional support consistently to children. For example, only praising their extrinsic qualities like their looks or abilities and ignoring or overlooking their intrinsic qualities that are kindness, caring, reasoning, creativity. In other situations, parents may be emotionally and physically abusive and may indulge in excessive criticism for behaviors that they do not perceive as good. While other parents may seek perfection in children and want the children to acquire what is lacking in themselves. In other words, the parents are fulfilling their own needs and shortcomings. Narcissistic behavior disorder is more common in men and boys of some cultures because in those cultures, boys are seen as superior to girls, and this concept is subconsciously implemented in their minds by providing them with excessive attention and favors in comparison to the girls and women in the house. Now, let's look at the narcissistic traits and the consequences if this disorder remains untreated. And also, let's see how we can help children to overcome a narcissistic disorder and to learn empathy. Let's look at the traits. And the first one is feeling of superiority. They believe they are better than others. They exclude children from their play based on superficial characteristics such as socioeconomic status or children who are unable to perform tasks according to their expectations. and they behave in an arrogant or haughty manner and appear conceited, boastful, and pretentious. And they tend to monopolize conversations and belittle or look down on people they perceive as inferior to them. And they only want to be associated with people or children whom they think are equal to them. Express gratitude, they have high and unreasonable expectations of others, and they are not thankful for people for being kind to them or doing things for them. They are extremely nice, however, when they want favors and expect special favors and unquestioning compliance with their expectations, and they usually take advantage of people for their own means. They do not take responsibility for their actions and consequences, and they constantly blame people for their mishaps and shortcomings while taking all the credit if something good happens. They throw tantrums when criticized, and they also tend to hold grudges and resentments. And they get extremely annoyed if someone tells them what to do or remind them of anything they did wrong, while they constantly criticize others and are very insensitive to other people's feelings. They do not have respect for others. They refuse to recognize the authority of others and often indulge in gaze aversion when being spoken to. That is looking away from people when people are talking to them. And they have magnified feeling of envy and get easily offended if others seems to be doing better than them. And they may also exhibit antisocial behaviors such as getting into fights or stealing toys from other children. And they do not show any empathy for others and insist on having the best of everything for themselves. Now let's look at problems related to narcissism. As children with this personality disorder grow older, they may become preoccupied with self, needing excessive attention and admiration. They may excessively make public the smallest of their achievements and may brag about them for months to seek attention. When their need for admiration and attention do not get fulfilled, they may experience depression, substance abuse, or even acquire suicidal tendencies. When these children grow older, they usually encounter relationship problems as they often find their relationship unfulfilling due to their exaggerated feelings of self-importance and inflated egos. And people may not enjoy being around them because after some time, people will realize that they are the ones always giving and sacrificing. And all the relationships depend on give and take. And now let's see what can we do to help children to acquire empathy. Firstly, we as caregivers need to develop skills to be sensitive and responsive to consistently meet children's needs, where children can count on us for emotional and physical support. And I would be expanding more on these skills in my next videos. Secondly, we need to be a role model for children. We need to model empathy, care, and kindness for people because children learn best by observing and not by what we ask them to do. Thirdly, we need to guide children to regulate their behaviors in socially appropriate way, and this topic I covered in my previous video on child guidance strategies 1 and 2. Fourthly, when a child hurt another child or do something wrong, we must avoid making them feel ashamed by confronting them or by denouncing them as bad. Instead, we should talk to them, telling them the consequences of their behavior and how it affects others, how others feels, and to support them in finding ways to make amends. Another important technique is to help children to learn about diversity and differences, to make them understand how all of us as humans have so much in common, because we tend to have greater empathy for an individual when we perceive that individual to be similar to us in some ways. Meditation is another really good technique to help children to acquire empathy. And through meditation, children can acquire mindfulness and inner peace. When people are peaceful and happy, they seem to be more loving and tolerable of others. And lastly, read stories about care, kindness, and helping others. These are some of the good techniques to help children to learn empathy and to understand that other people have feelings and to be considerate and kind to them. That's all for this video, and in my next video we are going to see the different parenting styles and what styles are better and what styles are not so good, and how we can adopt the good styles, what we need to do in order to promote all-round development in children and to support self-regulation skills so that the children can grow up to be competent adults. Thank you very much for watching this video, and please do not forget to like and subscribe so that you can get my videos as soon as I upload them.